Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick video about one of my favorite laptops here in 2021. Yes, the good old Asus G15. Now, I purchased this back at the beginning of 2021, right when it launched, and it was nearly an instant love affair. I say that because we did get off to a bit of a rocky start, but in the end, it did win my heart. Didn't mean to rhyme, but I do it all the time. So, why would you want the G15? Well, right now it's on sale for $1,550 US, which in my opinion is an absolute steal. I paid $1,850. Yes, it's been out since the beginning of February, but it is still incredibly competent, relevant, and still one of the best overall balances when it comes to its display, which is a 15.6-inch QHD panel, 165 hertz refresh rate, very solid color accuracy, which hopefully you can tell from looking at the picture right now, but I just realized I do have brightness cranked up, so let me go ahead and crank that down so that this way you have a better idea of what you're looking at. But it's just excellent. I mean, display quality is great. The CPU, fantastic. It's an 8-core AMD chip. You've got an RTX 3070. It's only a max Q, but when it comes to maxing out games on this display, for the most part, you're not going to run into many problems. Of course, brand new, latest and greatest titles, you may have to drop things down a little bit, but it does a great job. In addition to that, you're getting one issue that really isn't an issue, but for some maybe. 8 gigs of the 16 that come pre-installed on this is soldered. One DIMM is soldered. So that means the upgrade path is fairly limited. You know, you can throw a 32 gig DIMM in here, which is what I did. It'll give you 40 gigs of RAM. The dual channel, you know, it reports as being dual channel all the way, but there's all kinds of speculation that the dual channel ends at 16 gigs. And so if you really want to upgrade, you would need to go with the 3080 model, which comes with 32 gigs soldered to the board, 16 soldered to the board, as opposed to the 8 here. So just food for thought, but I don't recommend going to the 3080. Again, at $1,550, this is an absolute steal. Battery life is excellent. If you disable the GPU inside of the Asus software, you will be looking at roughly 8 hours of battery life, and all it amounts to is, again, turning off, well, I'm getting updates now while I do this, but turning off, toggling the iGPU. So you want that discrete GPU, which is the 3070, to be disabled. You'll be working off of the integrated AMD graphics, and then you'll pull essentially roughly 8 hours of battery life. The speakers, while I had some popping issues at the very beginning, through driver updates, software updates, it's been rectified, so I'm quite pleased. I mean, from an audio performance standpoint, I think with the G15, you are getting one of the best experiences in its weight class. And remember, when it comes to weight class, this really is a lightweight. You're talking about a machine that's under 5 pounds, but gives you performance that traditionally I feel like would be a 6-pound machine. So it's fantastic. And that's one of the reasons I'm still happy with it today. You know, I've bought other machines, flirted with transitioning away from it. One right now that I just purchased is the Omen 16 in ceramic white from Best Buy. And that actually just dropped in price too. A great laptop, but not enough to pull me away from the G15. Now, if I was starting fresh today, maybe I would give it thought. But at $1,550, this is still the way to go, because now it has pricing in its favor, which was never in its favor. It was always roughly $2,000 after tax here in the US. Now you can pick it up at $1,550. So it's really just easy, really easy for me to recommend this machine. Again, great battery life, great audio performance. I love the keyboard, and the display is excellent. You know, it's not the brightest display on the market. 300 nits is where it maxes out, but I still think that is more than enough for the majority of use case scenarios out there. And initially I thought, you know, was it not bright enough for me? I would have liked to have had a 500 nit display, but truth be told, I've never really run into situations where I feel like it's dim or lacking that extra oomph that you might think just by getting a little bit screwy-looey from thinking about that 300 nit brightness. So Asus really deserves credit here. The one thing I'm not in love with is the actual color scheme. Now, you may love it, you may think the design is great, but as you may have noticed, I've skinned the whole thing. So M2 Skins hooked it up. We've got an interior skin as well as an exterior skin. As you may have noticed, a little bit of branding there for the channel. And I love the skin. I mean, it keeps the machine nice and clean, so I don't have to worry about anything getting damaged, so it does act as a bit of a protective layer. And then in addition to that, I like the styling much better this way. The dedicated audio keys, mute key, as well as the Asus software key, all great additions. We have a little bit of screen wobble on it. Not too bad. I mean, not enough for me to not recommend it. In fact, clearly not enough for me to have returned it. Video editing on here is fantastic. Have I demoed machines that are faster? Sure. Do they cost $3,000? Yes. The least expensive machine that I've demoed that outperforms it is the Omen 17, and that's like, carrying around a beast compared to this. Also, this supports power delivery, which I think is incredibly important if you're taking into account that it's thin and light, which it really is. For those of you wondering whether or not you need to bump this up beyond the 16 gigs of RAM, I would wager no. Even though I did it and threw a 32 gig Crucial DIMM in there, most of you will not need it. We have a micro SD card reader, which again is something I am always looking for. As much as I love the Lenovo Legion 7, no card reader, I wish they had it. Type A USB port, ventilation, Kensington lock, nothing on the back except for our LEDs that show activity. Some people have complained about the venting hitting the bezel of this, worrying that it was going to warp it. Well, here we are. How many months later? 9 months later, I don't have any issues, and I use this thing every single day for just about everything. Again, this is a jack of all trades. More ventilation on the other side. The power port takes a little over an hour to fully charge this using that. And then we have HDMI out. Wish it was 2.1. Not that big of a deal. Ethernet, Type A, Type C, Type C. We've got Type C with power delivery, and it acts as DisplayPort out as well. So if you want to do some 4K gaming to an external monitor, this is the way you're going to go. And then you've got a headphone microphone combo jack. And that pretty much rounds things out. Ventilation on the bottom. It's just a really nice machine. And again, I can easily recommend it. Anyone who's looking for your best bang for your buck right now when it comes to performance in a really lightweight form factor that almost makes you feel like you're dealing with an Ultrabook, that's what the G15 pulls off. And that's why it deserves credit. And at $1,550, you will not find a better thin and light gaming laptop here in 2021, which is why I decided to put this video together. Again, I will include a link in the description to Best Buy where you can pick this up with that RGB keyboard. Best Buy is the only retailer that carries the RGB keyboard, if that matters to you. It didn't matter to me, but it's a nice perk to have. I could have just gone with regular white backlighting. But again, for the 10th time in this video, this is an absolute must-have at $1,550 if it fits the bill for what you're looking to do, which is a bit of everything. Content creation, gaming. You might want it for college, grad school, if you're doing anything in terms of architectural work, AutoCAD, Revit. This is going to be more than enough to do just about anything, and that's why it's so easy for me to recommend it. The only thing it isn't is a 2-in-1. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.